All right, welcome in. Welcome to the Bounty Hunters. We ride again to one of the most overrated characters ever. Just kidding. So anyway, we're going to talk about, we already did the young Boba. We did the middle-aged Boba. Now we're here, retirement age Boba, where he has to wear a diaper and live in a bantha tank to live his life. So that's what we're doing here. So what do we want to discuss first?
I think we should bring up the best points of his life. We talk about legends first, and then we could talk about canon. Legends. The great bounty hunter Boba Fett. What does he do after escaping the Sarlacc Pit? He goes on vengeful against Han Solo in the Dark Empire event, tries to kill him. He gets his revenge. He goes on to do a bunch of stuff. He gets a new ship, the Slave 2. He goes on and rebuilds the Slave 1. He goes and does a bunch of stuff. Eventually becoming Mandalore himself and leading the Protectors in the war against the Yuuzhan Vong eventually.
No, he didn't. He just sat in a tank and waited to wake up. What are you talking about?
Now, it was all a dream in his mind in the canon version. In canon, he dreamt that happened because in canon, all we know of him after the Sarlacc comes from The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett. And if you watch both those shows, you will know everything you need to know about Boba Fett after Return of the Jedi.
What I know about Boba Fett is that he gave his mantle and all of his balls, his strength, his aggression and power to his right-handed lady, as it were, because she's the actual balls of the show, and he's just sitting there going, "Hey, can't we all just get along, guys? It's fine. Let's just talk it out."
Kachun, what do you think of your favorite character's growth as after the Return of the Jedi?
Growth. I don't know. He kind of dissolved, didn't he? What?
He's supposed to be a better man, right? Become a leader. Mercy.
He did apparently learn a lot. I guess stuff that he didn't already know. I thought he was at his peak, but those people in the sand taught him some stuff, and I was trying to figure it out. How long was he actually supposedly with the Sand People?
Did they ever give us a date? I don't know if they ever gave us an actual date.
They didn't, but I don't even know if it was years because, like, no one really aged. Like the children didn't age,
and we know all those sons. It'll age you. It'll age you quick. We know that. We know that. So he might have been there for about a week, from what I saw from the aging process. He was there for about 24 hours. I don't know. Star Wars is weird like that because you saw like Luke say, "Hello, my name is Luke," and Yoda said, "Hi, my name is Yoda." And the very next scene, they're flying away, and they were supposed to believe that they were been there together for 20 years training or something crazy. So the Star Wars like time thing is always kind of weird.
Yeah,
I have no idea. Yeah, I mean, part of it I kind of get, right, of what they were trying to do with him, because this is the modern world and we have to put apparently what we would like to see. It's just that in the arc now that we have followed from him being a kid to middle age to this guy, unless that 2 days he was in the belly of the pit, somehow he got an epiphany. I don't see his character, whatever he ever showed as his character, that in that one moment, boom, he wants to turn everything around and become like this guy. Like, I just don't see that growth and what would do that. I don't think the few minutes he spent with the Sand People are going to change that.
Honestly, he'd probably be more vengeful and spiteful and angry than anything. So.
Yeah, I mean, disfigured.
But yeah, that's the only arc I have. I like you were saying, I kind of like the comic books will always save us at the end of the day because they don't mind. They don't keep up with like body count, so he could have one comic book where he kills 17,000 people, and the next book nobody ever even knows he killed 17,000 people or whatever. So I don't know. Like it's fine. I get what they were trying to do, but I don't see what indication his character was ever going to do that. I just don't get it. But then at the same time, they also changed the Sand People, right? The Sand People went from having a reason to be bloodthirsty. They weren't bloodthirsty for no reason. Like people try to see, because if you don't know, if you're not like a super nerd like us, and care way too much about this crap. You have no idea the Sand People were like that for a reason. And then maybe this one little tribe wasn't, but then they became like all in depth and stuff, and it really wasn't like that. So
a lot of peace and love going on in the Tatooine deserts after Jabba died.
There is.
They maybe felt, they probably felt sorry for him. He'd come out of a Sarlacc pit. They'd never seen anyone come out of one of those before.
True.
He was probably a god to them.
No one had seen that ever happen until this particular plot armor needed to be done. But I would say that, he was just trying, at his older age, he's just trying to get, I guess, a better life for bounty hunters himself, even. And was kind of like, which I thought the bounty hunting guild would have took care of what he was trying to accomplish. Maybe I'm wrong. Where it's like, we kind of fight for ourselves and do our own thing and not do it for like a greedy scoundrel like the Jabbas of the world, even though he's sitting on Jabba's throne. So it's a little bit confusing, but I kind of get where he was trying to go with that. I just think, I feel like they gave him the growth of how old he actually is in real life, the character that plays him, and forgetting that he just dragged his ass out of that Sarlacc Pit like not that long ago to have that long of an arc. So like, if he was like 70 or something, then I would be like, yeah, I totally get it. But he wasn't. Like, that's the only thing about the older.
I mean, he forgot how to drive his Slave One.
Those spice covered nose worms really change him, man. Now that's true. Now that's the part that's up in the air. Voodoo Lily makes a good point. Once you start sniffing drug worms, then his whole, wow, like, woo, out there, yeah, mind blown. Like that could have been it. He could have been just like, whoa, got a whole new thing of life. Like that could have,
It was a little inebriated driving. That's why I couldn't do that.
I totally forgot about those worms until she said it. I'm gonna go find the tree in the desert. Find that tree in the desert. But that's basically. You can find out all you want to find out, or not find out if you haven't found out, by watching the Book of Boba Fett. And you can find out all you want to know about canon wise.
And if you want to know what our thoughts are on that, you can always go back and watch the finale episode, not the whole show. Please don't watch every episode we did. Just watch the last one.
Yeah, we wouldn't want you to do that. We wouldn't want you to watch every episode. However, but I think we just kind of gave a pretty quick thing. He kind of is more like thinking about how to better himself and bounty hunters. He's more almost like a retirement kind of thing. And
my question then for you guys is, for Legends, we'll talk about that with the comic slides, but the canon, seeing how the reception was for Book of Boba Fett and how everyone like saw him and like they wanted more like classic Fett, bloodthirsty Fett. Do you think when we see him next, either in the Mandalorian movie or wherever else, do you think they're gonna make his character a little more brutal, a little more violent?
I hope
or do you think they're gonna try and like stick a guns ho with this new pacifist?
Logically speaking, they 100% should. This is Disney, and they seem to get more and more stubborn as the years go on. So I'm gonna say no. What I would say that this is the one time that what Disney likes to do, which is take a character, flip it, flop it around, make it a male or make it a female, do whatever. At this point, if they're going to continue with this path of him trying to be a retired age on a rocking chair, just maybe give his armor to what's her name, his right-handed lady there, and let her go be the brutal.
Or reveal he has a daughter, like in the
reveal that he has a daughter, and if that's what y'all want to do something else. But no, he needs to go back to me. Come on, like, but I don't. Would Disney ever make a rated R Boba Fett movie? Because that's what we need. We need a rated R.
All that cool stuff that he's known for, it's been stolen by the Mandalorian. So
listen to him. Did you hear that tinge of hate for the Mandalorian? Did you hear that as a Boba Fett fan? Those sons of bitches stole my hero.
I mean, he even stole a whole episode.
He stole a lot more than the whole episode. He basically stole the whole.
I was waiting for that comment. He stole an episode.
I do think so, though. When you watch The Mandalorian, I do think that when they were writing The Mandalorian, the writing team, they didn't think there was ever going to be probably a Boba Fett TV show. So I think that was their way of kind of telling Boba Fett a story about Boba Fett in a different way. And then when they were like, you know what, we're going to launch it, people were like, oh, oops, what do we do now? Because I really do. I think that's kind of what the problem was. That it was because Mandalorian is kind of I mean, I think even Mandalorian, he's too good of a guy. Like he's too like nice and too for what I would have thought Boba Fett was, like too honorable.
Because like the best parts of the Book of Boba Fett for me were once he figured out how to drive his ship again, was using it because it was something Mandalorian didn't have. It was a badass ship.
Blasting
Oh,
all the
he had a
speeder brake.
badass ship, but then Star Wars and all the wisdom decided to blow it up right after they launched a $300 toy about it. So that was pretty good.
The first appearance of Black Chrysanthemum, that was also really cool.
Yes, until we got the fight in the underwear.
Right.
The underwear fight, the only Black Series toy that Hoosier wants.
I
just
want the
underwear.
deluxe
$2
Black
mold,
series
right?
of him in the back with the back of the tank and him in his undies with the bathrobe on the side as an accessory.
Yeah, I don't know how you pull this out, honestly. Like those are a lot of decisions that Star Wars has made that I don't know how you recover from it. And one to me is the Boba Fett decision. And honestly, at this point, the only thing I can think of is unless you're going to say everything is retcon, we're getting rid of all of it from like 10 years ago on, is that you might just have to say that he's going to pass the mantle down to somebody else, a daughter that shows up, a son, whatever you want. Omega, like at some point, I don't know. I mean, Omega would make sense if you made her into like a.
No, don't you say those words. That's gonna happen. You spoke it into existence.
I'm fighting.
The
Look,
Omega, who is Alpha, showing
she
up.
was, and that actually makes sense that they would have an Omega show up, and she becomes the new. I mean, if Omega,
if it's not Tamora Morrison in a wig, I'm gonna be disappointed.
If Omega shows up to give us what Boba Fett should have been, or just basically a stunt person in a Boba Fett armor and killing people, like I my hatred for Omega character will go down at least 10%. Like it'll go away. Like it's at.
But when
technically she's Omega Fett, right? She's their brother and sister.
What's gonna happen is she's gonna be blasting a bunch of people. It's gonna be silent. It's gonna be music's gonna be going. It's gonna be great. Somebody's like, "Who the hell are you?" She's gonna turn. Oh, hi there. I'm Omega Fett.
That was pretty good, actually.
and immediately just
and we basically have a cousin to that. We could have had him do that, but you did a pretty good job out there. We had a cousin. Does he have any kids in real life? If so, put them in. I don't know. They're probably a little bit older though, maybe. They might be.
I didn't even think about that. If he actually has kids, that would be. If he has a daughter, he looks at the daughter as like, you're putting his wig on.
After what he's gone through with like there's been times he's talked about he's waited by the phone for weeks. They don't call him. He's like, oh, guess I'm not in that show.
Don't say that to me. I hate hearing that. He's so sad.
Guess I'm not going to be in that episode or whatever. I don't know if he wants his kids involved. I think Star Wars.
They stole a whole episode from me. He said the same thing that Kachun said. They stole an episode from me.
Yeah, but I think that's pretty good. I think we pretty much covered his stuff in canon. Like I said, I don't know where to go with this. I don't want to say like, oh, I hope they do more because it's already been done. So the only thing I could think of to save it, honestly, is the Pike Syndicate or maybe, the Hutts or something show up and just murder everybody that he cares about. And then he just goes on a, John Wick style revenge tour. And then that'd be cool. But other than that, I don't know how you pull it back from that.
He and Fennec Shan could create a new syndicate.
So Tamora Morrison has 3 children, a son, and 2 daughters named Tirana and Takuna. So
okay, well,
I don't know how old they are. There's like no information on them because obviously he does not want them.
I'm kind of glad that we these random super creepy nerds who are like looking to his family, we can't get that much information. I'm actually okay with that. Like I'm okay.
They look like I think we just go into the slides probably just to cover the legend stuff too, because most of the legend stuff is comics and then some books.
By the way, this is like when I saw this for the show happen, I was like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And then I believe I don't have it with me, and I regret that I didn't get it. I believe one of the 3 of us said, there's no way it can be bad because I can't be disappointed. I believe.
One of the three of us said this. I think we know who said this. If you want to go back and watch every single Book of Boba Fett review, you will know who said that.
You don't have to. You can just watch the first one because that's where he said it. But all right, the Bounty Hunters, episode 102.
I just realized that Fett is, if you say fat in Kiwi accent, that's what it sounds like.
Right?
So Boba Fett is kind of
you know what I just realized? That apparently if you're from that part of the world, you know there's a difference between the Kiwi accent and Australian accent, because I thought they were basically the same thing.
There's a huge difference.
Yeah, I didn't know that. But I'm American. We don't half time. They don't even know the difference between an Irish and an English accent. So
they somehow knew that Boba was going to become fat, just like Bib Fortuna did.
They talked to him. They said, "You've been working out." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go. I've been working out this whole 20 years." Like, "Yeah, we don't need you to do that. We've been planning on you being fat from the beginning. So we're going to need you to stop working out, and we're going to need you to gain some
good catering." And you can...
Here we go. Let's go.
All right.
So, appearances. Today? His TV appearances obviously are The Mandalorian. He returns the cameo in Gunslinger. And then his first appearance is the Marshall episode in season 2 of Mandalorian. And then we get him back in his whole TV show for Book of Boba Fett, with the exception of episode 5 there. He does not show up in that episode at all. He literally has a whole episode of his own show where he's not in it. And it's the best episode too, which is insane. Which is insane to me. I can't believe that.
Does it have Paz in it? Was it that one?
That was the one with what's his name? Yeah, Paz. Yeah, Paz was in it. So, Legends comic appearances. Now, I'm sure you're confused by the first thing there. Issue 81 of the original Marvel series, he escapes the Sarlacc Pit. He escapes it a couple issues after Return of the Jedi. And I won't spoil what happens in it. We'll see in the slides. But later on, the first appearance of the Slave 2, his second ship in Dark Empire number 4.
I don't remember this. Does it look like the Slave 1?
Yeah.
It looks weird.
All right, you primitive screw.
Whoa, what's this?
See this?
What the hell is this?
Thank you, Queen. It was clearly a boomstick.
Oh,
there you go. See. And also, Voodoo says she's confused. Are you talking about Mando season 2.5? Because she doesn't quite know what the Book of Boba Fett is. Is that?
Yeah, it was a spin-off. It was a spin-off series of Mandalorian. not. You know what? You can skip it. Anyways, then later on, Dark Empire 2, he shows up in some other random issues, and then at the very bottom, there's the list of the one-shot single issues that feature Boba Fett after. A lot of them we've actually covered before in different aspects of the Twin Engines of Destruction. When the Fat Lady Swings, Agent of Doom. They're all the great issues. If you can find them, I'd say grab them.
Fit Lady.
So, here is the first time he escapes Sarlacc Pit. And he's on the cover there. And on the right, notice anything very specific about this? How he crawls out and how he lies in the sand like that? They took that exact thing from Book of Boba Fett. That exact way he gets it. Yeah.
Damn.
Which is fun.
Stolen by their own content.
Stolen. Now, here's the funny part. He gets out of there. He has amnesia from being there. He has no idea who he is. The Jawas pick him up thinking he's a droid. And they take him to the Sandcrawler to do some shenanigans. Han and Leia are on Tatooine doing some stuff, and they come across Fett, and they're like, what? Fett doesn't recognize who Han is, and he's confused. And after a bit, it dawns on him who he's looking at. He goes, like, Solo, like, it's you again. And the Sandcrawler is now, like, some shenanigans happen. The Sandcrawler is going to be crashing into the Sarlacc Pit. So, Solo's like, let me help you. Let me get you out of there. And Fett's just freaking out, yelling, Solo, I'm going to kill you and all this. So he goes, my hands are tied. Screw this. And he, remember the slides that go here? He just says, screw it. He gets shot at. He just jumps off the Sandcrawler. The Sandcrawler just dunks straight back into the Sarlacc Pit. putting Fett back into the Fit.
Oh man.
He was out for not even a whole issue.
That's so great. Like that's perfect. That's so the way they did it later in life. That's actually a better send off. So like let's just keep that. He was so stubborn. He went back into the pit.
There's still time. He could still do that.
And then after that, Dark Empire 4. Again, Han and Leia are doing some things, and then Boba Fett shows up. Han's like shocked. Fett's like, "Yeah, you surprised to see me? I survived. I met some of my old buddies again." And Dengar is there with him, as well as Forlom and Suckus.
Can I just talk about this power stance that Boba Fett has right here? What is this power stance they got going on? They're all doing it. They're like, this. That is awesome.
They're probably posing like that, waiting for him to come in the room. Yeah, that's how he truly reappears. That is the Slave 2 right there. That right angle, that acute triangle.
Oh wow, it looks like a stapler.
Yeah, I don't need. Yeah, never mind. I stick with the Slave 1 I got. I don't need that.
So it's a really weird ship. He used it for a bit, and eventually he does get the Slave 1 repaired and fixed back up. He ditches this ship promptly as soon as that happens.
Yeah, I would too.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Dark Empire 2, that's a cover he shows up on there. Chewbacca looking like insane.
That's the scariest Chewbacca I've ever seen. Why we haven't seen that Chewbacca? Holy cow.
That Chewbacca realized what the braids were on Boba Fett. It was Lumpy. It was Lumpy's braids.
That's why we never seen him. Yeah, good call.
That's how we get Black Chrysanthemum.
Yeah. So this is the issue where he gets the Slave 1 back. He gets the repairs in order, and these people are like, pay us up and all this. We're going to charge you back to the so-and-so. He says, screw you. Does this crazy maneuver. He drops to his knees and just starts blasting rockets and everything from his wrists.
Nice.
Voodoo says she has seen that Chewbacca many times in her dreams. What I like about these older Star Wars things that they do is that every artist has their own interpretation of what the stormtroopers' helmets look like, and it can be pretty funny how they draw those sometimes because they are very interesting at times.
Goofy.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is just cool. So this is another. This basically is where Solo and Boba Fett get into a space battle. It's just a really cool looking cover, and then just a great full page spread where you see the Slave 1.
Nice.
And not doing
Han Solo is screaming in the bottom right there.
Oh, look at that face. Yeah. Get off my lawn, kids. Oh, here we
go. Here's a fun one. This is topical. Tales issue 18 is a whole issue where it's different one-shot stories of Boba Fett later on in his life after the events of Return of the Jedi and such. This one's called Being Boba Fett. And this would be the first appearance of Boba Fett with his towel. In the shower.
Can I ask a question? All these marks on him, is that hair?
This was a precursor to Book of Boba Fett. Not only did they take from the Star Wars comics in the 70s, they saw this and was like, we need to make a whole thing of this.
Are those like hair in the shower, or is that like marks? Okay.
But yeah. And then Crimson Empire 3, Empire Lost. He shows up there briefly. This is when he's Mandalore to the peoples, and he meets up with one of the main characters of the series.
What do you mean he's Mandalore? I don't know if we discussed this on the show.
We talked about it in the Mandalorian History special a long time ago, where he took on the role of Mandalore after killing the previous one as part of a job, and they kind of guilted him into taking on the role so his people could thrive.
Yeah.
And he did a pretty good job with it, all things considered. Hey, no Darksaber needed for this.
Yeah, no Darksaber needed. Oh, there's that stupid font.
So I want to show you a couple of the covers to these ones. Again, the Twin Engines Destruction we've covered with Dengar before. That's a fantastic issue. Look at his face down there, Dengar. It's old
Dengar's
towel.
amazing. Mm-hmm.
And then on the right is the Bounty on Barracuda with that very famous goofy font.
It's so stupid. So Flintstones. I'm not a fan of that font. I love this guy right here. Who's the guy with the axe? He's pretty. I like that guy.
When the fat lady swings. That's one of those big what is that thing called? What's the I'm trying to remember the species or the name of the
I don't know, but it's awesome.
Big grotesque burly person. And on the right, Murder Most Foul. That's a great cover.
I like that.
And then Agent of Doom is the most last Legends tale with him, and the most far flung in the future as well, if I remember correctly. It's like set the farthest forward.
Oh wow.
Yeah. That would be his Legends. Canon is a little easier to be said because canon-wise, he only appears in the Mandalorian adaptation. No Book of Boba Fett, no Book of Boba Fett comics at all. So, issue 5 Mandalorian cameo appearance there. His first canon appearance is issue 1 of Mandalorian season 2. He also shows up in some variants for that series, as well as a Lucasfilm 50th anniversary variant.
So I have an issue with the fact they haven't adapted that show.
And now they're adapting. We'll see in this news, Ahsoka is being adapted.
I heard.
And they've not adapted Book of Boba Fett.
That is awful. I mean, how many? Well, they're probably going to have a half an issue of just Power Rangers. Which
if they did, it would have to. There have to be a great variant with him in his underwear.
You are really obsessed with this man in his underwear. I'm just going to point that out.
It's hilarious. It's funny. So this is the cameo appearance there. As we know, he's the one who goes up to Fennec and brings her up. So, following that, the actual first full appearance in canon is issue 1 of Mandalorian season 2. There he is. You know,
not here.
Looking younger. Looking younger.
Not over here. That's not him. This is him over here.
That's him over there. Yeah. Don't need to knowledge who that Grogu creature is in the middle. It doesn't even look like a frog.
Not quite full appearance because he's been dissolved a little bit.
Yes, it's partial. So here we go. This is where he actually shows up and talks to him about the armor and all that. It's basically the same thing that happens in the show, same dialogue. There's no differences in dialogue, like how you adapt a comic to the movie. They change some things around.
It's funny they still have a writer, even though it's already been written.
It's 1 for 1. It's not like it's any different.
What's best is somebody got paid to be the writer on there. That's what the best is.
The artist is over there pissed himself off. He's like, I have to match all these panels and art. Well, you're
the
just over there
ink,
going,
the colorist, the artist, they did all this work, and the guy goes, "Yeah, I got the writing. No, leave it on my desk. I got it." It's not
his name goes first too. His name goes first before the artist.
Look at this bitch slap move right here.
Now this is good. At least is him just cracking the stormtrooper over, cracking all of them. The knee missile rockets.
Yeah, now, Voodoo just called for the knee missile rockets too.
Here's the thing: they do leave one thing out. He looks over. He blasts the Ron carrier, and in the show, I go the nice shots. Like I was aiming for the other one. Here, they omit that entirely. They don't. He doesn't say that.
Well, this is a comic book. You don't miss in the comic books. Only in the TV
That's it, right? You know, they still make them better in the comics than they do the show.
That one on the right is pretty awesome.
He was better. He was better in Mandalorian than in his own show.
Yeah, amazing, like legitimately amazing. And I rewatched the clips from that. It's that great. And here's the variants. On the left is actually homaging my favorite covers ever, the Crimson Empire, where it's the Royal Guard fighting all the stormtroopers with his staff in the same position.
Yeah, that's cool.
And on the right is just gorgeous. There is a Virgin variant to the right one. That's like a 1 in 100, I think. The one on the left's a 1 in 25. The one on the right is a 1 in 50, I believe. Now, these is a little different. So the one on the left is a weird. Stephanie Hans did not do a good job with that one.
Stephanie, we got to have words. We need to have a talk. Come to the principal's office, please. That's not.
And on the right is the 50th anniversary variant, is the Book of Boba Fett variant. There you go. You don't get a whole comic. You just get one cover.
Okay.
I don't know if I
Back
got
here,
that.
the helmet that the Mandalorian is wearing, it looks like when one of my kids leaves a toy out and I step on it and I'm like, oh, sorry, Dad, stepped on the helmet. It still works, though, guys. That's what it looks like. Looks like somebody stepped
I think they
on
left
it.
in
What
the sun,
issue
so it warped a bit with the
Which issue of Afro is that?
issue 21.
21. I don't think I
You
got that.
You don't have that? Uh-oh. Somebody on
I
the
don't.
in the
Someone's gonna be charging
eBays.
you $100 for that.
I'm about to say, somebody on the eBays, Barbarian or somebody, get that money to him. He's gonna need that.
Now that would be it for comics. Toys. Now,
Oh, I'm
here's
sure.
some interesting
I'm sure
ones.
he only has one or two. I assume.
You think? He has quite a bit. So
Yeah.
this is the Mandalorian. On the left is him in his Tusken garb or Tython garb, and then on the right is the where he has the armor back on, and it's a deluxe, so it's like a little larger set as well.
I would get the Tuscan one if I could find it for like $5. In my very famous, I only buy it when it's on clearance. But other than that, I don't really need it.
There's probably tons of them out there.
Yeah,
I ran into any, and I look.
That's a closer look at that there. I guess it glitched. Oh, it did. Okay, the thing glitched then. The previous image was supposed to be the Book of Boba Fett one, where he's wearing. It's the same exact one, except it's the black armor or repainted armor.
Oh, okay.
So the image must not it must have upped the other one by accident. Great. Anyways, so Lego wise, he does have two figures basically from the Book of Boba Fett. This is his first figures from the Mandalorian, and it is with the slave one. And it has the figure with the blackened thing.
You want to read that again?
Sorry, Boba Fett Starship. I forgot.
That's what started it all. That right there was the most controversial Lego of that year. That's what started it all right there when people saw that and it said Boba Fett Starship.
Right?
Yeah, you got the mini one on your shelf. I was going to point that out because you have it on your shelf as the microfighter version. Does yours say Boba Fett Starship as well on yours or no?
It does.
You say it.
And Christmas colors.
I almost bought this statue, but I already hadn't.
Yeah, this is one of the PVC diorama ones they've done, where it's like the cheaper one, but quality holds. It looks great.
It does.
Yeah. Now, if you want to spend a little more money, I was in the.
What is this in here randomly for? Okay.
Last week I was in the dollar store walking around, and I looked to the left for a second. I peeked at that, and I'm like, "Excuse me." And there's I see Hot Wheels is all over the place. They're so stupid, but this is just funny seeing the back of Boba Fett, not even the front of him, and just like this.
And his beach cruiser. That's the best thing. It's in a freaking beach cruiser.
Imagine that's what season 2 Book of Boba Fett starts. It's like a POV shot of him driving, and it pulls out. He's driving that across the dunes, dragging some criminals behind them on rope.
The best part is, the beach cruiser. The best part, we were here, and he said, "Now, if you want to spend a little bit more money," and then this was the next picture. That's the best part of the whole thing. It was like the dollar store, Hot Wheel. That's a premium. That's a Hot Wheels premium.
I forgot that was the next one. I thought. Let
me tell you something right now, though. If I could find like a 1985 Good Times van, that's not a bad thing to have painted on your van right there. That's not bad. Like that's actually pretty cool.
And you didn't get that for me.
No, because you know why? I'm gonna go back there. It'd be $2. This was they did a Sideshow did a bust of Boba Fett, and this is the one they did for Book of Boba Fett where he's in the black cloth and everything. Regardless of how the show turned out, I love the repainted over design of it all. Yeah. I think it looks phenomenal.
Still better than the season 1 punks on Vespa. You like the beach cruiser better? That's awesome. I mean, I don't really like busts. I have a mall bus because it looks awesome, and this is pretty up there. This is a pretty cool looking bus, to be honest with you. Like, that's pretty awesome. Look at that, though.
I mean, it's the next best thing.
Shut up! Get out of here.
This is the Gentle Giant. They did do the throne. So he's sitting on the throne with his blaster up.
Let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it, Kachong. I'm sure you got that back there. You're a super fan. Where's it at?
I wish.
Can you customize your chair and setup to be that throne?
Oh my God!
yeah,
You need to make a throne like that. What are you doing?
Mega cosplay. That would be.
You can charge people for pictures. You can
We
bring them to your house
we
and charge
never
them.
get to talk about his cosplay anymore because he has done a cosplay in about 15 years. So like, this is something you should be doing right here.
Again, he needs the Boba Fett. He's already said it. He wants that done.
Since the pandemic, I could do my Fennec for my wife. We could go as a pair and set up a throne and everything.
Make
I
sure
could
it's like
be,
a throne on like one of those mobility scooters. You can just roll around on the whole convention.
Master says he wants a Hot Wheel. Hey, listen, and I don't mind being, you know, the obviously a little bit heftier looking version of the guy you replaced on the throne. Like I got the body type. You just got to give me the big, you know.
Max Rebo.
No, I'm just saying, like I can be, you know. That looks awesome though. What is this? This is not. This is it.
That would be it for Boba Fett.
So that's it for the elderly Boba Fett. If you want to watch all three, I can save you a little bit of time and say a lot of it comes down to comic books. The best thing about this character is that he had about 30 seconds of screen time. And it's ended up becoming the most iconic character ever. And when they finally decided to give him all the screen time in the world, it was a Book of Boba Fett. So we'll just say that. I like Boba Fett. You know, you would think he might be my favorite because of all the crap I have around here that is Boba Fett. But I've enjoyed it. Did you learn anything new from? I mean, we kind of already read all these comic books, so we didn't really. I don't think there's anything new we learned.
I mean, huh?
I know one thing I learned. I didn't know what Slave 2 looked like. I can tell you that. I don't remember that at all. Like I might have skipped right over that panel. Like I don't remember that at all.
I think there's a Slave 3. I don't remember though.
It looks like an ashtray. No, I learned a bit more about Legends because I learned there's a lot more books I need to get. But we'll leave that for another time.
That's funny.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining on this trip through Boba Fett 1, 2, and this will be episode 3 of Boba Fett. You can watch them all if you want to see. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you guys next time. If you want to sub, you know where that is, so you never miss a thing. And thumbs up if you liked it.